What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. I am excited to be before you today. Thank you guys for continuing to tune in both last night and this morning. And you guys are absolutely positively awesome. What's going on, friends and family? Let me get a mental health check in the chat. Let me hear what y'all got to say. Give me one word. How you feeling today? One word. How you feeling today? I feel like just wearing a hoodie. I feel like I ain't wore a hoodie on the Millionaire Morning Show in a very, very long time. I haven't wore a hoodie in a very, very long time. Shout out to the people. What up? Let me get one word in the chat. How y'all feeling today? Recovering, dope, energetic, glorious, late, felicity, naked. What does felicity mean? Festive, richer, winter, blessed, tired, great, charged, amazing, great, goofy, spooky, uplifted, late, prosperous, rejuvenated, steady, motivated, dynamic, optimistic, like, money, blessed, peaceful, cold, late, love the hoodie, good, motivated, amazing, blitzful, optimistic, sick. Oh, get better. Confident, phenomenal in the Anton voice, sales, loaded, stupendous, sleepy, uncaffeinated, sick, vainglorious, working low key, favored, hurt. Who hurt you, man? Not like what they said yesterday on the show. Blessed, hairline focused, happy, good, mangy, prepared, geeked up, streetish, equilibrium, refreshed, amazing, sore, windy. Let me see. Serendipitous, bag chaser. Shout out to the chasers. Shout out to the chaser. We're going to get into this Keith Lee thing. We're going to talk about how Walmart makes money. Chicago victims are speaking up. People are complaining about prices at the grocery store. HOA fees with regard to real estate. We got a lot to cover this morning, so I hope that y'all buckled up. I hope that everything is great. Let me give an early shout out to my guy, Mike, that dude on Cash App. Always got to highlight the people and talk about the people that hold us down. Also, I want to give a shout out to my dog, Ken. Shout out to Ken on Cash App, Ken. And I want to give a shout out to Speed Racer. I appreciate you, Speed Racer, for holding me down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely awesome. So what up, though? You said millionaire as of 2/1/2023. Shout out to the people that's getting their bags up. Shout out to y'all. I'm definitely going to hopefully be holding y'all down and adding value into y'all life. So if you can, go ahead and hit the like for the algorithm. Also, if you are on Facebook, shout out to my Facebookians. Make sure you hit a like. And then for my people on YouTube, you know what it is. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tap in. What up, what up, what up? Let me read a couple of the super chats, early super chatters, and then we're going to get started with the show. Miss Lady J said, I'm coming through with the 2-ball. Thank you, Miss Lady J. I appreciate you. Crow T. Shetty, shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty, said, thank you. And then threw that 10-ball up there. I hope I'm getting y'all. Hope I'm getting y'all through y'all days. JP in the building. JP says, shout out to the AD for the free daily game 2 years ago. I tapped in. 2 years, 28. 2 years later, 28. Nice 6-figure salary with more coming. You know, I like to try to get y'all through y'all day and then take up a chunk of your day because I know it could be boring just listening to the headphones, or you got your coworkers around you bothering you, or my truck drivers is on the road and they looking for something a little different, entertaining. Maybe y'all can get y'all laugh on. Maybe we can learn at the same time, disagree, agree, hold some cities accountable and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we like family over here. We truly are like family. Real talk. And so I genuinely, and I know I say it a lot, and I know y'all starting to get used to me saying it. Y'all used to me saying, yo, I appreciate you. I love you. We family. I want to rock with y'all, all of that. Where else would we be? What else would we be doing if we wasn't kicking it right now? What else would you be doing? Listening to some trash, endlessly scrolling up on your timeline on Instagram or something, somebody bothering you, aggravating you, listening to some trash music that's not necessarily best for you, or somebody just continuing to feed the rumor mill and it's not adding no value into your life. At the very least, we can love, entertain, disagree, have fun, learn something in the process, the whole thing. So I am going to always be appreciative, always be thankful, and always hold you guys down as far as making sure that I stay humble. And I know that without you guys, we don't even have this show together. And so I genuinely do appreciate you guys. Let me read a few more super chats and then we're going to get started with the show. Whoopi Rock says, I love you, Anton, and chat bless. We all family. It's not even just me. Y'all interact with each other. Shout out to Whoopi Rock over there in the UK. Highly Offensive says, run it up, AD. I'm trying. I'm genuinely trying to run it all the way up. Christian West says, dropping a little something in the offering plate. Where can I get one of those hoodies, man? Somebody actually sent this to me. A friend gave this to me. Somebody that I know in real life gave this to me. I don't really wear hoodies like that on the show. I usually just throw on an all-black T-shirt or whatever because I'm just trying to chill. I thought about not even wearing a rollie today, but it wouldn't be the Millionaire Morning Show without the rollie. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you tap into that Tej Hanley. Thank you for Tej Hanley sponsoring the show. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Ladies, get it for your fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Also, on top of that, let me also give an acknowledgement to the Bag Chasers and the Patreon members. I thank you guys for holding me down, and hopefully I'm adding value into your life, including the meetup that we got this weekend in DC and the Invest in Your Business in November, late in November. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to be giving y'all dates. Distinguished Gentleman says, AD, you got me through dark times. Forever grateful. Bless up. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, Christian West. I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. Coach King Rod is in the building, says, rejuvenated back with the Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Black Cobra says, able to still join a Patreon or Patreon. Anton, love your podcast daily. Thanks for what you were doing. Stay strong. Join it tomorrow, because this is the last day of the month, and I don't want them to double bill you. So join it tomorrow. Best day of the month to join a Patreon is tomorrow, or it's the first day of the month. The best day, now if you get into it in the middle of the month or whatever, that's still really, really great. But the best day to join, you don't want to join it on the very last day of the month unless you're paying for it yearly. Because yearly you get like 15, 20% off the entire price. So join it tomorrow. If you're not a bag chaser and you're finally getting into the chasers, make sure you join it tomorrow. That's the best day. Shout out to Black Cobra. I appreciate you. That is a great question. Bitcoin Brown in the building says, Keith Lee out here single-handedly impacting the entire restaurant industry. Let's keep running up that bag. Ton, you always on, bro. Thank you, Bitcoin Brown, and I appreciate you. Kung Fu Hustler in the building says, pitch me your best comic book monetization idea. Pitch it to you. What do you mean pitch it to you? Why would I pitch it? You pitch me. I'm the money. If I like your idea, I might give you a little bit of seed money if you're a bag chaser in order to get your idea together. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Kung Fu Hustler. I appreciate you. If I had a comment, I don't know. Let me think about that for a minute. I'll come back to you on that one. Anthony M is in the building, says, is a trade like plumbing or electrician worth going into instead of cybersecurity? Appreciate your advice. I think that either one is fine. Plumbers, you always gonna make money. Electricians, you can also, both of those businesses are businesses that you can then expand off of and go off and create on your own. Cybersecurity is a little bit different because it gives you job security also. So all of those things are great. These are all industries that will not be obsolete in the next 50, 60, 70 years. They're probably going to become more needed. Here's the question that you got to ask yourself. Because plumbers and electricians have to be out in the field. They work with their hands. That's the difference. That's the difference. You can monetize anything, but do you want to always have to be out in the field? A lot of those guys' backs be hurting or whatever. They get to the bag. They absolutely, plumbers, electricians, all of that. Really, the question that you want to ask yourself is your lifestyle. Because a cybersecurity professional, I could do that job from anywhere. I could do that from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So if you are worth your salt, if you know how to market yourself effectively and all of that, you can figure it out. You can figure it out. So shout out to you. That's a great question. Also, healthcare providers, doctors, are they unionizing? I haven't heard anything about a doctor unionizing. So that's new to me. Send that to me and I'll be able to mine that out. Derek T in the building says, Ton, Mississippi big boy on the check-in. Shout out to Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI in the building. Where you get that hoodie, I don't know if you mentioned it in the previous streams. I live by it daily. I'll put this as a part of my merch. I'll find out where my guy got it, and I'll put it on the website for sale. Maybe this will be one of the first merch items that I drop. Give me a week. Give me a week, I'll get that to y'all. As I got to call him and find out where he got it from. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Also, on top of that, make sure that you guys are tapped into the Patreon tomorrow, first day of the month. Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Let's get straight to it. So I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Keith Lee. Now, I was largely unfamiliar with Keith Lee. Until this recent Atlanta tour that he's on, in which he's, shout out to a little time bag chaser. I'm gonna read the super chat shortly. Until he landed in Atlanta, and it seems as though everybody is on a tear. Now, Keith Lee, according to my research, has been on the scene and he's been cooking up, and he has between 14 and 15 million TikTok subscribers as of the recording and the live streaming of this video. On Instagram, he has over 1 million people following on Instagram. And the word in the streets is that he can make or break, or he can absolutely positively give your restaurant or your business a boost if he goes in and he reviews his stuff and he gives it a good review. Now, I also found out that he's an ex-MMA fighter. His brother is an ex-MMA fighter. Some more details. And, as somebody go viral or an industry is disrupted, that things will continue to change. What y'all have to understand is that disruption is coming all across the board. These traditional ways in which we look at things, and I know I'm going off on a tangent a little bit right here, but the traditional ways in which we look at what marketing is, how you bring visibility, the old ways of doing things. I was having a conversation with Rita yesterday, and I said, I am so surprised that I even have to pitch myself, or that these people, because I've had a local, not here in Detroit, but a local station that's in a different state. I had a local news company kind of reach out to me and kind of get a level of interest to find out if I would be interested in possibly exploring, being on local TV or whatever, right? And so that's happening, and it's a lot of feelers out there and stuff like that, right? But I was telling Rita yesterday, I said, I am so surprised that these industries are so behind. And she said, why is that? I said, because if you look at what it is that I do and my ability to be able to build myself up and create my own audience and market myself and make myself something out of nothing, even when it comes to content creation, if you look at what it is that I do and how much better I am than what these local news stations and companies and these newscasters and these broadcasts and the traditional way in which they doing stuff, then they're basically still doing stuff the same way that they've been doing it for since I've been born, right? Yeah, they got a couple TVs in the background. They got some new news anchors. They still got dudes with no mustaches on there. And if you look at what I do versus what's being put on TV in that dying industry that they got going on, I said, why haven't more people actually reached out to me? And she was like, maybe because you be cussing too much. And so we laughed or whatever. But disruption will always be a part of our fabric, the same way that Uber disrupted the cab industry, the same way that marketing and advertising went from traditional newspapers and TV over into what it is that we're doing right now. Everything will continue to evolve, and the ones that actually understand evolution and change with the times, which is one of the reasons why I'm always on you guys to not be interdependent on these companies in order to make sure that you guys are taken care of or that you get your bag. Disruption, changes, evolution is always going to be here. It's always going to come. And I can't understand for the life of me why people can't adapt to it. But anyways, let's get back to it. Keith Lee, huge TikToker. From what I've seen, and I looked at a lot of his videos, he is one of the most authentic people that I've seen, as far as not necessarily trying to destroy a business or anything like that, but he just gives his honest reviews, and he's been on a tear in Atlanta. All right. So I'm going to play for you his most recent viral thing that everybody is hemming and hawing about, right? Hemming and hawing about. And they feeling some type of way because he's out here, he's having a conversation, and he's giving some honest reviews since he landed off the plane over in Atlanta. The place that he's about to talk about now is called Milk and Honey in Atlanta. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's get it started.
Me and my family are in Atlanta, and currently we are at the Real Milk and Honey. I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. We are at the Real Milk and Honey on Main Street in College Park. Before we came, we attempted to call our order in. We were greeted with an automatic message that said they do not take call-in orders. The automatic message said the only way you can do pickup is through DoorDash. We went through DoorDash, they was closed. But online, it said they closed at 5 o'clock. We went on DoorDash at 4 o'clock, but we were already here, so we just went inside. I stayed in the car and my family went in, and they told them they were closed early for deep cleaning. Yet the door is wide open and it's people still going in and grabbing their orders. Now we have no idea if those people ordered beforehand or what the case is. Also, the people who relayed this message, my family said were really nice. It's just the rules. And so far being in Atlanta, I found some places do have unique rules, and this is one of them. I want to be very clear, we're not blaming one person or saying one person was rude. In plain terms, don't call this restaurant trying to get nobody fired. Ain't nobody do nothing. This is just the rules they had. If you don't like their...
So as you can see, he's prefacing what he's saying by basically saying, listen, the hostess was nice. Apparently, Atlanta got this scene where, shout out to P. Shank, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Apparently, Atlanta has this scene where they don't really do carry out in most of these places, and the way in which they see things and the different black businesses, they operate a little bit differently than I've seen. and other places that I visited, so on and so forth. And one of the things that he's done and that he does is that he's become so popular that he does not want people to recognize him and then adjust how it is that they serve you or how it is that they prepare the food, or they don't want to give him any kind of, he don't want the special treatment. He just want to give you an authentic review of what his experience was of trying out a specific type of food, right? Or what his experience was in visiting that restaurant. So he'll a lot of times send his mother or his girl in or his family members to go in, get the food, and then bring him something out, which is one of the things that's disruptive about what his process is because he's saying that most of these places don't even have carry out. So it's very difficult for him to even be able to review it. But he's going to these places. They're open. This place, Milk and Honey, is apparently saying that they're having problems. They tried to DoorDash. DoorDash is saying that they're not available. So it's so many different problems with this place that he's going to visit. Let's continue.
The rules not for you. And for me and my family, the rules just wasn't for us. We just not their target audience. For the record, afterwards, I did walk in and they did recognize me and they attended the services, but I respectfully declined. I'm a normal person. I pay for my food like everybody else. I walk in spots like everybody else. We are all normal people. Respectfully, if you're not going to do it then, don't do it now. God bless you. Yeah, we're just trying to get some food. But I am going to make this very clear. I do not support, condone, or agree tearing down these businesses. While we personally may not have the best customer service experience, that does not mean you will have the same experience. That also don't mean go on Twitter and tear these businesses down. At the end of the day, business owners are people. You never know what people are going through. The only reason I'm even making this is to share my authentic and real experience like I always do. I don't mean no harm, I don't have no malicious intent, but I always say I'm gonna be 100% honest, and that come with the good and the not so good. You don't know what nobody going through, so what we can't do is just judge off of somebody else's experience. If you would like to go to these places or any other place that I've been to, I encourage you to go try it for yourself and make your own opinion. But we still in Atlanta and we on Main Street and it's a bunch of spots here, so we're gonna go to a different spot.
So he didn't even say really anything negative about the restaurant at all. He said, listen, the lady that was at the front desk, she was cool. She was nice. We couldn't really get no service and no food. And there was excuses in different ways in which they were saying stuff or whatever. So on a long story short, they wasn't able to get food at this place called Milk and Honey down there in Atlanta. He didn't even say nothing. He didn't kill him. He even encouraged people, hey, don't go after these businesses because this was my experience. And when I walked in, they wanted to give me all of this special service. I declined it because I pay for my food like everybody else. And so this is the way that I'm moving, right? But he didn't really even say anything. He was just real chill about it. Now, the Milk and Honey people, on the flip side, the black people that apparently owns this place, decided that they wanted to drop a video, but then they subsequently removed it after it started going viral, right? Let me play for you this 14-second clip that they decided to use as a response to Keith Lee because apparently they didn't know who he was.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee?
Yeah.
No.
So, very corny, cringy video where they decided to do a response video where they like, did you see the Keith Lee video? You don't know who the Keith Lee is. Really basically being tongue-in-cheek and saying, and this is a very bad video. Like, you could come up with something better than this as a response, but I got my own opinion and I'm gonna save that to the end. But basically they came up with this corny response where the daddy and the mama or whoever it is that's sitting on the side basically was on some, hey, did you see this Keith Lee? And he like, I don't even know who that Keith Lee is. And then it even went further in the comments where they were kind of going off on him saying that black people, I can't believe that y'all will let somebody like a TikTok reviewer even influence y'all on where it is that y'all supposed to be eating. So basically, they had that haughty spirit within them. And instead of moving and being a little bit more careful of how we move within this particular establishment, they decided they wanted to clap back on TikTok, right? And then they removed the video because a whole bunch of people started coming after them when they wasn't even having that type of smoke in the first place. In addition to that, he's reviewed multiple different videos, including whatever restaurant that Candy Burris actually owns also down in Atlanta, right? Now, Candy Burris, she's smart though. You smart. You loyal. And so apparently they got a restaurant down there in Atlanta also, and he went there, and I'm not sure exactly what it is that he said, but one of the things that he said is they don't have carry out. I guess I couldn't necessarily get any service at their restaurant also. And so she did a response video. And check out what she had to say as a result of him showing up.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Candy, and I'm about to speak on it. No, I'm joking. I'm not about to speak on it. I really just wanted to say I do appreciate Keith Lee for stopping by our restaurant and trying to show us love. It is very unfortunate that we couldn't serve him and his family. We would have loved to, okay? But he's right. We don't take to-go orders on the weekends, and the simple reason is because we do love and appreciate the people who come and support our restaurant. On the weekends, we get a lot of community support, people in our city that show up for us, as well as a lot of people from out of town. So with that being said, we don't want to overwhelm our kitchen by having to, have such long times for the people who are actually at the restaurant, plus having to do to-go orders, because obviously that would make the wait times even longer. So that's the reason for that. For those of you, I saw a couple people was like, why wouldn't they take to-go orders? Well, that's why. Anyway, with that, outside of that, I want to say thanks to Keith for trying to even show up to our restaurant and show us love. Thanks for trying to bring your family by, and maybe next time we'll still get a chance to serve you. Okay. All right. And much love to our hostess. When I listened back to the video, I felt like she was being very polite. What she said to us was that basically when she called the names on the list before him or before his family, that the people didn't show up, which happens sometimes. Sometimes people put their name on the list and they don't want to wait. So I don't know. That's what she said to us. And other than that, if she did do it because she saw him, it's okay. Because, a lot of people, when they see somebody they love, they try to look out for them. And we try to look out for our people who come and support us. So with that being said, thank you for the support. Thank you to everybody who reached out today. We're okay. And thanks to Keith.
So she's smart. She's smart. Now, my advice for people as a person that has built restaurants, that is a silent investor in multiple different restaurants, my advice to people is always never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, respond to criticism. Never. If you ever go on Google reviews or Yelp and you see the owner in the comments responding to something that somebody said, often at times it's out of emotion, it's bitter, and it happens commonly with black people specifically. I'm going to be honest with you. It happens commonly with black people. Now, her response obviously was much, much better, and she actually did a really great job, in my opinion, compared to whoever the Milk and Honey people are, right? And so she basically learned from their mistakes. Obviously, she's media trained, so she understands how to move a little bit differently. A lot of people then gave her a lot of appreciation, and it gave them even more visibility, even though they didn't necessarily get a review either, right? And they didn't have the greatest review as far as the experience or the customer experience that's then happening down there at restaurants in Atlanta. But she's absolutely positively on top of it as far as her response to it. She didn't get back at him. She didn't try to clap back. She just said, I appreciate it. She added a little bit of context instead of giving excuses. And she said, listen, maybe we're going to try to do better next time. God bless y'all. Good night. God bless y'all. Good night. That's the only thing that could have happened, or the best response if you are going to respond. It's the best response for you, because the restaurant industry, even with the margins being low, even if you have a great cook, even if you have great reviews, even if the people like you, it's only one thing that needs to happen in order for you to then implode or for people to turn against you, which is one of the reasons why I decided to get out. One of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I decided when I go into the restaurant business, I want to be a silent investor instead of being a public investor, because I don't want what I say online to affect whether or not people decide they want to patronize the business or not. So, my portfolio doesn't necessarily have to be visibility, but then at the same time, I leverage understanding how marketing works with regard to 2023, 2024, and going forward. I leverage that in order to be able to help them become more successful, in addition to the finances that I then deploy on that side also, right? But let me just give you a little bit of hint. And this is not just to the restaurant industry. This could be expanded across the board. You do not. 98, 99% of the time, unless you like are a content creator and you going back and forth and it's something where y'all both getting visibility and benefiting from it as far as going back and forth, the debate or whatever. But anytime somebody has something to say about you, you do not have to respond. I even had to learn this in my journey with different businesses and content creators, whatever. One thing we never did, we never, ever responded to anything negative when people didn't necessarily have the best customer service experience, or maybe an employee messed up somebody's food or something like that. We never. The only thing that we would do is maybe we would reach out if we had a way in which we can contact them in order to remedy it or make it better. Because y'all also have to understand that the majority of people that leave reviews, they're not going into it to leave a good review. Most people that go into an establishment or a business, and it doesn't matter if it's a restaurant or anything, most people go in to have a great experience. They have that great experience. They pay for their food. They tip or do whatever it is that they're going to do, and they keep it moving with their day. They're not going to necessarily go out of their way, go online, find your restaurant, go on Yelp, and then do a review on it, unless you're trying to become a TikToker or an Instagram person that's trying to become famous. Very few people go in to leave a positive review, but if you ask them, and this is one of the keys that people need to say, is usually you can say, hey, or you can have whoever it is that's serving them, or whoever it is that's at the front desk, or whoever is at the register, and they ask them, hey, how was your experience? And people start to appreciate that. And they say, how was your experience? And they say, oh, well, my experience was this, or it was good, or whatever, so on and so forth. And they say, okay, great. Well, if you had a great experience, you give them a card, or you give them a little piece of paper or a flyer and say, hey, can you leave a Google review or whatever, so on and so forth. If you had a great experience, give us 5 stars. It really helps us out as a business. I appreciate that. And then once you program them or you put it in their mind, you have a greater chance for them to actually leave a good review. Because again, most people are looking to just go in, eat their food, have a good time, and keep it moving. Very few people are actually looking to actually go out of their way for every single transaction that they do. And you got to remember, we do transactions every day. We buy stuff from Amazon. We go to different restaurants. We buy cars. We do all of this stuff. And of all of the millions of transactions that's happening throughout the day and the billions of transactions that's happening throughout the day, 99.9% of them are not leaving reviews. Now, if somebody does have a bad experience, they're 10 times, maybe even 100 times more likely to go online, especially if they do not get a resolution as a result of it. They don't just say, I'm not going back to that. They spread the word. They talk to their friends. People start to say, if you know, you get some visibility online, people will say, oh, I've been there. They leave comments. I didn't really care for it. The girl had a nasty attitude. And they will go out of their way to leave a bad review because they didn't like the experience. But very few times do people actually go out of their way to leave a good review, unless you are incentivizing them, or you're asking them, or you're very intentional about that. So that's just a tip for anybody that ever has a business that is front-facing, brick and mortar, online, whatever. If you've ordered some shoes from a website or something like that, you don't go on and leave a good review on all of the different websites that you can leave a review on. Most of the apps that you download, you don't go and leave a review in the app store that you really, really like, the YouTube app or the Facebook app or anything like that. You just download it and you keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. Now, if somebody pisses you off and you want to say something in the comments, you definitely going to start to get that energy off. But my point is, whether you're in a restaurant business, you got a brick and mortar store, e-commerce, you got a massage business, whatever you do not respond like the milk and honey people did. You are writing your own ticket to continue to lose money at the end of the day. You always, 99% of the time, ignore whatever it is that people are saying about it, make the adjustments, maybe reach out to them and try to change it, but do not, and in any way, shape, or form, do not respond negatively. If you possibly can, hold that in. Even as a content creator, if somebody says something negative about you, you just keep cooking. Tomorrow, it's going to be somebody else, and it's going to be another story where they could just go ahead and they can talk about them or whatever. But you just work, put the work in, make the changes, continue to win. And the best response is success. It's not even that the customer is always right, because a lot of times the customers be dead wrong. And that's a fact, though. They be in there scheming. They pulling hair out of their head in order to put it in the food to try to act like it was you. Ain't nobody in here even got no hair on their head. It's all men working in the back today. But you got that red hair on. It just so happened to be red hair in the food. I'm telling you, it ain't like they gonna backtrack. Okay, I got you, ma'am. So you got to just bake that in with the losses. That's a part of the shrink. That's a part of the cost that we got to push over into the rest of the consumers to pay for your food because you wanted to come in and finesse. A lot of times the customers be dead wrong. I mean, dead wrong. 1,000% of the time. What you gonna do? You keep it moving. You make the adjustments. You try to adjust in order to make sure that you don't have too much shrinkage, and then you keep it moving. And you cook up. And if you don't understand the cost of doing business, or that's a part of the cost of doing business, then you shouldn't be in business. You should not be in business. Flat out. All right? So that's what's happening with Keith Lee. We're going to keep an eye on it and see if the rest of Atlanta is willing to change their ways in order to be better businesses for the people. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to get it popping. Somebody changed their name to Anton the Little Bag Chaser. Shout out to the Little Bag Chaser. And then they put Eda Man Williams picture on it. Okay, I see it. Jokes. All right, we got you. Thank you for the super chat. P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels. I like Keith Lee, and some black people feel he is shaming black businesses when he gives bad reviews. Sometimes my people get on my last nerve. Why is it shaming? Shaking my head. Because y'all are not on code, and you need to start being on code. Jay Ben is in the building. Jay Ben says, Keith Lee got me wanting to come to Detroit to try that little food hall out on 6 Mile. I actually went there. I was literally just there last Sunday and where I shot my video that I dropped on Sunday night. I was there at the food hall. It's called What You Want to Eat, I think. And they got a long food hall and all of that other type of stuff. You know me, and we was in there trying to figure out whether it makes sense from a financial perspective or whatever like that. But we'll get there. Folks' tastes may vary, but he rarely misses on his reviews. I agree 100%. Shout out to my dog, Jay Ben, in the building. Enos Luby, I appreciate you, says, this time change in the UK got you late 2 days in a row. Yeah, they do be having the clocks going up and down, don't they? Shout out to Enos Luby. Jake Fever in the building says, I will wear I work for Keith Lee t-shirts to skip people. Jesus Christ. John Doe in the building says, Anton, did you know that Amazon video reviews can be monetized? I did not. You just literally gave us the game. So Amazon video reviews can be monetized. Anthony, shout out to Anthony, says an open cardboard box unboxing. Shout out to Anthony with the super sticker in the box. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. You are absolutely positively appreciated. Shall we continue over with the show, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we continue over with the show? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, tap into the Patreon. I appreciate you. All right, let's move on. So, yesterday we had a conversation and we brought Chicago to the front of the congregation about a shooting that happened apparently at a party that was not sanctioned, or they did not have the proper licenses. So basically it was like an open house party in a warehouse. That was my interpretation of it. Over in Chicago, it was a house party or something that happened over the weekend, but a man came in and he shot 15 people. That's the word on the street. Let me bring y'all up to speed on what was happening, and then I want to show y'all what the victims were saying as a result of it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's get it.
We're continuing to follow that breaking news from overnight. At least 15 people have been rushed to the hospital after a mass shooting at a gathering on Chicago's west side. Our Jen DeSalvo is in the control center this morning with the latest. And Jen, what have you heard so far?
Well, 15 people were shot. 2 victims are in critical condition, and they were all adults. The youngest 26, the eldest 53. What was going on? A witness says Chicago comedians were performing for a Halloween party. The DJ announced it was over, and 5 minutes later, a man started shooting through the front door. A few minutes after 1 o'clock this morning, Chicago police were notified that shots were fired in Lawndale near 13th and Pulaski. A witness says there was a fight. They wouldn't let that person back in, and that is who the witness believes came back and opened fire. Now, when police showed up, they actually saw that man shooting into the building. He tried to flee on foot, but was caught by Chicago police just a short distance away. A performer at the event shared what went through his mind.
There was already people fighting on the inside. I don't know who it was. So I was in the front, so it was a fight that broke out in the back. There's a couple of guys that went out, then maybe somebody tried to come back in and told him he couldn't get in. So I guess he came back, put his arm through the door and started shooting.
That's wild. Let me just say that. That's wild. For a guy, because again, everything can't be placed on the mayor or at the mayor's feet or at the police feet or anything like that. To stick your arm in the door, okay, first of all, fighting in public is wild to me. I know that y'all not going to agree with me. I know y'all feel a certain type of way. I know that everything is disrespect. If you step on my shoes, I'm going to be mad, and you know what I'm saying? Don't ever say nothing to me, or you can't say nothing to me, or I'm going to stand up as a man. Look, man, we too old for that, bro. We are too old. Honestly, we are too old to be living 30, 40, 50 years. Can you imagine? Think about it like this. Can you imagine surviving the hood, going through college, getting whoopings as you was growing up? You done dodged everything that could possibly come your way that would take your life, ruin your life, or make your life more difficult than it has to be. And you make a mistake and step on somebody's shoe. Or you try to talk to a girl that you didn't know had a boyfriend, and then you see the boyfriend and you be like, oh, my bad, and then they feeling a certain type of way. Or y'all bump into each other and one person didn't apologize, and then y'all start scrapping or start getting into a fight as a result of it. The fighting part is very perplexing to me because I just never understood. Like, I don't have a problem walking away. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm not even going to remember you unless I vlogged about it in order to make some additional money in order to tell you guys about my day. I have no interest in entertaining going back and forth with you, because even if you're taking gun classes, and again, this is our cultural norm that is messed up, they will tell you the reason why you run, even if you are a CPL holder, is because that is the only option left before you have to take somebody's life in self-defense as a result of whatever it is that they're doing. You're running to protect them, not you. Every dude that I know that is a boxer, a mixed martial artist, deadly with their hands, CPL holder, they are very, very, very nice and polite. They don't want no problems. They avoid any kind of issues. They're the first to apologize. And they're doing it because they understand that you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. Why would I then even engage you in that way? If something happened, or even if you felt like I disrespected you and I didn't disrespect you, it's a strong possibility that I'll still apologize because I'm trying to get home to my daughter at night, and this is not a life and death situation. You respecting me or giving me whatever ego that you have has no bearing on me whatsoever. It don't change my money. It don't make me lose nothing. It don't do none of that. Who am I trying to show off for? Who am I trying to be tough for? You? No, I'm not. The only person that I got to make sure that I'm protecting and being tough for is if somebody breaking into my house, it's a life or death situation, somebody is threatening my finances, my resources. If you above the age of 20 and you've got out of high school and you still fighting, and even when I see some of these videos, I seen a video that went viral where these two guys was fighting inside of a job site, and apparently they was like drywallers or painters, and the two dudes was fighting, and people was like, yeah, at least they put their hands up, they put their dukes up. And I'm not fighting you. Bro, I had a homeboy. He was an OG of mine. He was my brother's homie. And he got into it with a guy. And he hit him. And he thought he just knocked the guy out. And the guy fell down and he went back in the house. He woke up the next morning and the guy was still out there. He had hit him and he killed him. He hit him one time. It's a strong possibility that the guy fell down and hit his head and he killed him. He had to go and account for that.
What up, though?
What up, Dre? You chilling? You busy?
I'm just cooking eggs right now.
Oh, you at the crib?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm on a live stream. I gotta ask you a question. Was talking about and I bleeped out his name. Remember when he was talking about how he had killed that guy by mistake when he hit him?
Yes.
What happened?
They all that got drunk. I don't know if it was years or something. Whatever occasion, they was all drunk, and it was his girlfriend's brother at the time, and they got into it. You know, being drunk. Him
and his girlfriend's brother got into it?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened? Don't mention his name. Don't say his name.
I'm not. Yeah, they got into it, and you know, he hit the dude. I guess hit him in the right spot, and threw him out the house. Drug him out the house. Woke up the next morning, opened up the door. The dude was still laying outside the door. He was dead.
That's crazy.
That's the details I was given.
That's crazy.
Ain't it?
That is insane. And the girlfriend's brother wound up dying, and he was still out there.
Yeah. Because, you know, he thought he had just knocked him out. You know, he was used to knocking people out or whatever, and opened up the door the next morning. He was still laying in the same spot he threw him out of.
Dang.
Yep.
Did he have to do any time for that or anything like that?
Nope.
Because he claimed it was self-defense?
Yeah, they got into it. It was self-defense.
Dang. All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, bye. I'm telling you, man, listen, stuff happen every single day. Even a simple scrap, even a simple fight can turn out to somebody's life being gone. And I just don't want the responsibility that come along with that. So when you then have to experience something like this, or you see stuff like this that's happening in Chicago and stuff like that, and I'm telling you, and that's my older brother, that's my OG, that's a guy that he grew up with, that's a guy that I used to see every single day. When I see him today, I still consider him a bigger brother, the guy that wound up knocking the guy out and all of that other type of stuff. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So even fighting could be very, very dangerous, because if you hit a dude in the wrong spot, you could kill him. You could kill him.
A couple people got hit, 3 people that I know got hit, and then there was a girl in the back.
Now, out of the 15 victims, 2 are in critical condition, a 26-year-old woman and a 48-year-old man. The other 13 are said to be in good condition, which just means their injuries are not life-threatening. 6 women, 9 men. Like I said earlier, Chicago police have the shooter and the weapon, a handgun. He is in police custody, and at this point, not a threat to the community.
6 women, 9 men hit. He just randomly throwing off rounds inside of the place. Stickers got put out, and now he just randomly throwing rounds into the place because of what? And some of y'all telling me that he over 50 years old. Here's the victims, and here's some of the victims, and here's what they said has happened or did happen at that particular event.
We begin here at 5 with a CBS 2 exclusive. A Chicago man with a bullet lodged in the back of his head says he believes he's alive for a reason. He was one of 15 people shot during a Halloween party in North Lawndale yesterday morning.
That victim is talking from his hospital bed only to our Sharday Gray. And Sharday, incredibly, Paris Brown is doing pretty well.
That's right, Joe and Marie. If you can even believe it, after being shot twice, 29-year-old Paris Brown still had enough energy to speak with us and make an Instagram video letting his viewers know he survived the mass shooting.
Now, you know, black people gonna be on the gram. We might even create a GoFundMe in order to make sure that you take care of me. If we survive and we alive, we going live on the gram.
Good guys. 29-year-old Paris Brown is recovering after being shot in a mass shooting in North Lawndale, but he is still suffering from his wounds.
Yeah, I was shot twice. Ow.
He was shot twice.
I was shot in my back. It went up my back, shot at my shoulder blade, came out of my neck,
Jesus Christ.
Came out of my neck, went back into my neck, and now the bullet is lodged in my skull at the back of my head.
This isn't the first time he's been shot. In 2012, he was shot in the back and paralyzed.
So wait a minute. So in 2012, you got shot and paralyzed. And 2023, 11 years later, I ain't trying to wish nobody nothing on nobody, but let me say something. Anybody that's still hanging around my dude that's just randomly getting hit, we need to make some different decisions. Whichever way you going, I'm going the opposite way. And I'm not victim blaming or victim shaming. I'm just saying that obviously it ain't safe in these streets. It's not safe in these streets, family. Stay out of the streets, bro.
Someone shot up our vehicle.
Y'all talk a lot about the dudes that play video games and stuff like that. They ain't getting shot up. They doing all of the shooting on Call of Duty, right? Now we got the Quest, we got the Oculus and all of that. Apple is about to come out with the Vision Pro. It's safe at home. The very minute that I start to see something pop off, if people is arguing for too long, homie feel like he got disrespected over there in the corner, they starting to get, dude, if I see a dude say, all right, you know what, don't even worry about it, and he walk out the door, I'm going to be gone before he get here. Listen, when he start walking, I start going. Me and my family is going in the opposite direction. We going to go to the emergency exit. We going out the kitchen. I'll tip you on the way out. Hey, fam, we got to go. Me and my family, you know me. I'm Anton. I got you, bro. I'll be back. I'll take care of you. I'm gone. Dude, arguing too much? You know what? Don't even worry about it, dog. I'm gone. See, you tougher than me, so that's cool. I'm going to need you go ahead and you stand 10 toes down. Me and my family, we are going home immediately. I'm not even going to no event unless they got metal detectors. They checking you. I love going to the Pistons games because we going through a private entrance. We go. Everybody go through the metal detectors. The same access that you got to the players is the access that you got to me. I don't have time for that nonsense, man.
I don't know. I was the only person shot. I got shot in the back, and I've been paralyzed since.
Chicago police say 15 people were shot inside the venue on the 1200 block of South Pulaski. Jermaine Banks and Darian Brown, who's not related to Paris Brown, are both local comedians. They helped promote the party. Before the chaos, Darian Brown says the suspect asked to take a picture with him.
I took a picture with the guy, telling me he drove up there. I don't know if he was from there. I think he's from.
Wait. You took a selfie with homie and then he came back and he wound up pushing your muffin top back? Jesus.
I don't know. I don't really know, but he was telling me like, yeah, he a big fan and stuff. I mean, I took a picture with him. Like, it was a good night. But that was earlier that night.
Banks says the suspect got drunk and was kicked out of the party by security. He says the suspect went to his car and got a gun.
How many shots would you say you heard?
I don't know.
I wasn't counting. It just didn't seem. At the moment, it just didn't seem like it was gonna ever quit. It wasn't gonna end. And the only thing flashing through my mind is I just pray that this is not my last day.
A prayer similar to Paris Brown.
I'm all over the place mentally right now, but I know that I'm happy to be alive, grateful, and I know that I'm alive for a reason, so I'm going to continue to stand on that.
Banks and Darian Brown say they both want to apologize to their guests. They plan to be at tomorrow's opening of the Emergency Assistance Center for those affected by the violence. It's from
not me. You listen, you can't get me to stick around once something like that to happen. I don't want to be at no new events. I'm not kicking it. I don't want to be friends. I am now going to change my life and I'm giving it over to Jesus.
From 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Young Men's Educational Network, right across where from the shooting happened.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, bro. We got to change our social circles, our cultural norms. And I know that it's not the guy's fault because the dude obviously had been removed. It was security and all of that other type of stuff. I know it's not the comedian's fault. They just put on a good event. They was just trying to have fun, tell some jokes, do whatever it is that they doing, connect, link up, whatever, so on and so forth, right? But God, man. I'm not even sure if there's one solution for this. What is the solution? Let's move on. I'm going to be reading super chat shortly. Let me move over into this. Let's go into something a little bit more fun. People complaining about prices going up. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. That is true. 50-year-olds still clubbing is wild to me. That's wild to me. Let's go into it, y'all. Let's get into it.
So I got a sub from Subway today because for whatever reason I was just really craving it. And all I did was get a footlong Italian BMT, and that shit cost me $11.65. What happened to...
That sounds like a good price, first of all. I don't even know if I've seen a Subway recently. A lot of the Subways that I had seen had closed after the pandemic or something like that, because Subway is the type of place where you got to go into or whatever like that. I haven't been to a Subway in a very, very long time. Hey, he said he got a foot-long sub for basically about less than $12. That's actually sound like a decent price on a low.
The $5 footlongs.
I try not to complain too much, but we just went to Taco Bell and got food for 4 of us, and it was $53. This morning, we went to an upscale breakfast restaurant and got breakfast for all 4 of us, including an appetizer, and that was $66.
Okay, so you said all 4 of y'all. That's $12 per person. What we missing? That's like $12, $13 per person. What we missing? Hey, man, the dollar store ain't even dollar storing no more. He going out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then he complaining about how much it's costing him in order to survive. You never, ever hear me complaining about prices that I go out to eat for. You know why? Because going out to eat is a choice. So your kid's supposed to get 5 Tacos Locos with the Doritos logo on there, and you know they got to pay for licensing for that, right? And then they get a large drink on top of it, extra sour cream, potatoes, onions, whatever, tomatoes, tomato, and they get in the extra packets. And what is that supposed to cost? What is that supposed to cost? Wait. You do know that in some of these places that the minimum wage is at least $15, $16, $17 an hour, and it's going up to $24, $25 an hour, right? Over in California, it's going to be y'all keep saying living wage. It don't matter. This is a job for high school kids, but I decided that I wanted to make it my career and being able to serve people and pass out tacos through the drive-through. And they have to pay these people. Don't tell me it's too much when y'all sit here advocating for regular folk because y'all saying that they need to make $24, $25 an hour. They just passed a law over in California where the minimum wage is going to start at like $22 an hour. Who you think going to... Hold on. You can't have it both ways. Who you want to pay for it? You know how many tacos you got to sell in order to make up for somebody making $24, $25 an hour? Napkins, paper bags, electricity, people, labor, insurance, permits, food licenses, rent, towels, POS system, credit card fees, DoorDash fees, Grubhub fees, Uber Eats fees. Who you think gonna pay for it? So you thought that you was gonna raise wages and you was still gonna be ordering off the dollar, becoming a dollar millionaire.
So Taco Bell is almost the same exact price to feed a family of 4 as it is to go to an upscale breakfast restaurant. Make it make sense. I don't understand. I mean, I understand inflation's crazy, but this has to be greed. Taco Bell, I mean,
When I'm telling you that personal inflation, and I know it's people that like to come up here and argue with me on Fridays and stuff like that and say, no, inflation is only the index that the federal government issues based off of how much money that they printed. No, it's passing the cost over to the consumer that then affects what it is that you do from a lifestyle perspective because you voted for policies and things that's in place or people in place that set forth laws that then establish that you need to be making $24, $25 an hour passing out tacos. And so this is what you get as a result of it. And nobody is forcing you to go outside and go to the Taco Bell and go to the breakfast place.
We got 3 cheesy gordita crunches and they were $14. So they're like $4, $5 a piece now.
Yep.
For a taco.
Yep.
At Taco Bell.
Yep. And y'all want grass-fed cows. Y'all want Wagyu. You want to remove all of the fast farming and the pesticides, and you want to be great for society. I want to be a tree hugger. You can't have it both ways. Which one you want? You want to do things right? You want to pay people what you would describe as a fair wage? Next year it's going to be $30 an hour? Well, you got to pay for that.
5-layer burrito was $3.89. I don't understand how this can't be inflation. Taco Bell used to be like $1. You could get a beefy 5-layer burrito was like $2.
Because we were paying people $5 an hour.
I don't know, man. Make it make sense. This is insane to me. The price. This has to be price gouging.
So I live in a townhome and they just recently increased our rent. So when we first moved in.
Go ahead, girl. Show us what we're going to get for that $40. Let's continue.
It was 2021 and we were paying $1,910.
$1,900.
That includes our internet. So that doesn't include, other utilities. So that to me was expensive. And I was like, that's really expensive. So this year when we signed our lease, they said that they were going to increase our rent. And then to find out when they did increase it, it was actually $300.
So you didn't know what the rent increase was going to be before you signed the lease? They told you they was going to increase the rent after you signed the lease. What? So
the increase was $300. So now, with that increase of $300, it's I just don't understand
$22.10.
how
make more money, spend more money.
So I don't understand how they expect people to live, because between me and my husband, we make enough that we should be able to live comfortably, and this is a stretch.
Nope.
I have my brother that lives with me as a roommate. Luckily,
he pay rent.
But this is just absolutely ridiculous, and I don't understand how people who are living off of minimum wage, which is literally $15 now, how are you guys surviving? How are you guys buying groceries? How are you guys having children? How are you guys paying for your car payments? I just don't understand, how much longer is it going to be before people are literally just homeless?
Newsflash, we already there, baby. Tent City is coming. Tent City is coming. I just bought a whole swath of land. Closing on it in 2 weeks after I get back from the Patreon meetup. 3 people in the household, and see, y'all keep telling me. Remember a year ago when we had a video and I said that $50,000 is not enough for the family of 4, and y'all went ham, hard as a mother effer. Y'all went ape-ass. Y'all went nuclear on me, and y'all was feeling a certain type of way because I said $50,000 is not going to be enough in order for y'all to survive with a family of 4. It's $40,000 is not going to be enough for you to be able to survive with a family of 4. Now everybody want to say, yep, Anton, you was right. Actually, they don't want to give me my credit. They don't want to give me my credit. I said that y'all should not be spending this type of money or trying to be making. It's coming. It's coming. Inflation is here. It is coming. It is coming for your neck. And y'all felt, now y'all saying y'all don't understand how people doing it. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Thank you.
At this point. And they're just taking all this money and people are just suffering. And I just don't understand how anybody can fucking afford anything right now. It's just fucking ridiculous.
This is unfortunate.
The U.S. is completely unhinged when it comes to our prices. So I'm in the middle of the country right now. I'm in the middle of Missouri, where visiting my parents where they live, and I just went to a local chain coffee shop and got a coffee. This latte, it's a medium oat milk latte. It cost me almost $8.
Oh, your latte that's medium cost you almost $8. Well, guess what? That's because you got to pay the barista $20 an hour just to be able to do it. Listen, if y'all want business owners to lower prices, just wait on it, because automation is coming. Automation is coming, baby. We not going to have no employees. We only going to have maintenance people. And y'all going to be doing it the same way that they doing it in Japan, and that they drop off whatever the cup is. It's going to all be done through a machine. It's all going to be done through a machine. Most of the restaurants, a lot of these fast food restaurants that I've seen out, they never even open back up their lobby. They operating off of a skeleton crew. They never even open back up their lobby. You're going to be ordering off kiosks, and it's going to be one person that distribute the food or whatever, and that's going to be the end of it. That's it. McDonald's told the state of California and Gavin Newsom that if they increased it to $25 an hour, then it was going to add an additional $250,000 to $300,000 per restaurant as far as the additional cost it takes for them to continue to run that restaurant. An additional $250,000 to $300,000 per year per restaurant. And Gavin Newsom said, no, this is a victory for the people. Okay, well, now you get $8 coffee, $12 tacos, and $25 burgers.
Like, I'm not in a big city having a fancy coffee. This is a drive-through coffee.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of Missouri just cost me $8.
Yep.
I swear, if millennials can't even afford their little treats anymore.
I don't see what the problem is. I don't want to hear her again. I've seen her before. I don't want to hear hers.
And I have $317 left over after my bills.
Oh, let me rewind this. This sounds like a good one.
I just budgeted my paycheck that I get tomorrow, and I have $317 left over after my bills for 2 weeks.
That sounds like a win to me. You got $317 left over after all of your bills is paid. That sounds like a win to me. You sound like you're doing a lot better than 93% of most Americans. Where are all of these bad chicks at that's getting all of these bags that y'all keep saying is paying for men and taking care of men? You know what I think is happening, honestly? I think that PPP loan money didn't ran out. I think that the government got hip to these scammers. PPP loan money ran out. They got better chips inside of the credit cards, and so people can't finesse as much anymore. She got $317 over the next 2 weeks. That's $158.50. $158.50 per week additional that she could do whatever it is that she wanted to do. I don't see what the problem is.
I'm going to have to be a hermit.
This people is so privileged. So privileged.
What I'm about to show you is absolutely crazy. So just indulge me for a second. I'm
not
gonna
the
draw you a
bull
picture,
ring in
okay?
the nose.
I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The minimum wage here is $7.25 an hour. Overtime after 40 hours worked is time and a half. That equals out to $10.88 an hour after 40 hours worked. At 40 hours a week, you'd be making $290 a week, and that is $1,160 per month. That's $15,080 per year before tax. In Philadelphia, you get about 81% of your income after taxes. So after taxes per month, you'd be making $939.60. Okay, now hear me out because I'm just trying to prove a point here. If you worked 80 hours a week, which no position is offering you, just for
Two jobs, baby.
You'd be making $725.20 per week, $2,980 per month.
Your math is not mathing, baby. Anything over 40 hours is time and a half. Anything over 40 hours is time and a half. I'm going to need you to get your math together.
Before taxes.
It's them tattoos, man. Chicks with a whole lot of tattoos, they math just don't be mathing. They don't be doing the calculations correctly.
$37,710.40 per year.
Nope.
Before taxes.
You're wrong.
Per month after taxes, you'd be making around $2,349.64 after taxes. The average rent for a one-bedroom in Philadelphia is $1,425. But you know they require you to make 3 times the rent per month. So that is $4,275. You're not getting that. Even at 80 hours a week. On minimum wage, you're not getting a one-bedroom apartment at the average rate. The absolute cheapest
But nobody makes minimum wage, but let's continue.
thing I found on Zillow just now was a studio apartment with no appliances, just a toilet and in a room, basically, for $950 a month. Times 3, $2,850.
Time to get that tent.
You're not even getting that. You're not even getting the cheapest unit that I found for rent in the entire city. A room with a toilet in it. You don't even qualify.
A lot of y'all, honestly, let me be honest with y'all, a lot of y'all need to move back home with y'all parents. Can we just be real? A lot of people are not prepared to move out of the house. You're not. You're not financially prepared. You don't have the financial wherewithal. You don't have the savvy. You don't have the insight. You don't have the understanding. You are not equipped to move out the house. And y'all got so used to living off of loans and student loans. And now that the student loan moratorium is up, y'all got to pay those too. And so a lot of people just need to make the adjustment and stay home longer. Real talk. If we don't get back to basics and we don't get back to the original thing that we were supposed to do and understand how we're supposed, if you're not in a 2-parent household, you losing. If you're not raising your kid in a 2-parent household, you setting them up for failure. If your kid can't stick around longer through 18, through 22, 24, 28, 30 years old, you setting them up for failure. If you pushing them out the house too early, you're setting them up for failure. If they don't have a father, you're setting them up for failure. If you think that you can still work for 40 hours, you're setting them up for failure. If you're not utilizing all of the rooms in your house and you think that you deserve to have a 3,000 square foot house instead of living in a 1,500 square foot house with 2 bedrooms and a basement, and you're not utilizing that basement as a bedroom, you're setting them up for failure. If you're not saving and factoring into your budget, not only your 401ks for retirement, but also on top of that, putting together a college plan so that your kid don't get student loan debt when they go to school. And then you set the parameters for them and say that if you don't go into these particular fields, then you don't get the student loan money and you can do whatever you want to do on your own. But as long as you're living under my roof, you're going to do it based off of what it is that I set up for you, understanding that they're going to appreciate you later. You trying to be their friend instead of being their parent, you're setting them up for failure. If y'all out here spending money on things that don't add value into your life and then you want to complain about the cost of living, you are setting yourself up for failure. If you're going to get a basket weaving degree, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you are not willing to make the sacrifice, but you're doing things to impress people instead of doing things that is not best for you, if you're not living closer to your job, live, work, and play all in the same area, getting a roommate, making the sacrifice, staying down long enough so that you can live the rest of your life. Let me tell you something. At 21, 22, 23, 24, your 20s, you're supposed, let's just say that. 20s, broke. Even if you're not broke, you're supposed to live like and act like you broke. This is the part that they're not going to tell you. If you are in your 20s, you are supposed to be basically acting like you are completely broke. Patrice said, don't listen to Anton. Okay, don't listen to me. You ain't got to listen to me. You can do whatever you want to do. You can decide to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. I'm just going to tell you the truth. In your 20s, married, single, whatever it is that you want to do, act like you broke. I don't care if you make $100,000 a year, $120,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year. Live and act like you stay home with mama, parents, daddy, whatever it is that you got to do. Stack up, continue to invest, supplement your income, get multiple streams of income, work on your businesses while you're on top of it, so on and so forth. Listen, I did it. I already been through it. I wouldn't tell you to do it if I was not necessarily giving you the sauce of what it took for me to become successful.
Don't. Now, mind you, I have not even talked about bills, heating, electricity, car, insurance, health insurance, fucking food, for God's sakes. And if your argument is, oh, well, minimum wage jobs are for teenagers, why don't you go to college? Okay, do you want to talk about the price of college? Do you want to talk about finding somewhere to live while you're in college? And this is not even my situation. I make enough money, I'm comfortable, but it doesn't take much for me to sympathize with somebody that's not in my situation. So try sympathy before you tell me that we shouldn't raise the minimum wage. I don't have to try sympathy.
Nope.
Well, I had an eye-opening experience with my son this weekend. So my son graduated from college 6 months ago. And when he graduated, he was going to move back in with us so that he could find a job here in this local area and save up enough money to move out on his own. Had no problem with that. So it's been about 6 months. He has saved almost every single dime. He works a 40-hour-a-week job.
Fellas, let me tell you something. 40 hours a week is not enough. I don't know who set that standard. I don't know who told y'all. I don't know why y'all keep thinking that that's enough. 40 hours a week is not enough. Flat out. $40 hours a week. Patrice says, don't have the cam up. It's all in one's perception of reality. Well, tell that to all of the people. Listen, I travel all across the United States all year long. And you know what I see? Because this Patrice chick is saying you create your own perception of reality. You know what the perception of reality for most people is? That they living in a tent. Van life is one of the most popular subjects on YouTube because people are living in their cars because they're not listening to me. They doing what it is that they... Listen, your perception could be whatever reality that you want it to be. Cool. Have fun with it. God bless you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you a little bit of advice. Take it or leave it. It's getting cold outside. See, I've done a lot of volunteer work with homelessness. A lot of volunteer work with homelessness. Most people making $100,000 a year is living paycheck to paycheck.
Makes $40,000 a year, which back in my day was sustainable to be able to live. Apparently that's not the case anymore. You can't live on $40,000, which makes no sense to me. So we were looking online at Zillow, Google to find apartments and houses within his budget, a house to rent because he has a dog. So we said, let's write them all down and let's go check them out because pictures don't tell you what's really going on, y'all. So we drove around to some of these and I can't even tell you, some of them I didn't even feel comfortable driving down the street. They were in really, really shady parts of town, looked like a war zone. The whole house looked like it was off kilter. A lot of work to be, it just looked like it should be uninhabitable. Don't rent this. It should just be tore down, right? And then when we went to apartments, these apartments that were within his price range, and when I say price range, they were still going for $800 a month. These $800 a month apartments, I didn't feel comfortable with him living in these apartments. When I say those two look like they should have just been torn the hell down, they should have been. The only ones that are decent, he found a studio apartment that's in a nice neighborhood, $1,400 for 485 square feet. That is more than my mortgage, right? And then
you better hold on to that rate then, baby girl.
Regular apartments, not even glamorous apartments, just one bedroom apartment that has normal square footage is anywhere from $1,300 to $1,700. We live in Montgomery, Alabama. We're not in a big metropolitan area. I don't understand how the housing market has gotten so donkey, okay? And everybody says, well, then he should just buy a house since it's cheaper, mortgage is less than rent. Well, nobody will give him a mortgage loan because he has no credit. Not that he has bad credit, he has no credit. He didn't want.
Let me tell you one of the things that you can do from a credit perspective, because I just see whining and whining and whining, right? One of the things that people can do is, if you care so much about your son and you're trying to give him credit in order for him to be able to qualify for a mortgage, all you have to do is add him to one of your long-time standing accounts as an authorized user. You don't even have to necessarily give him a card. He gets all of your credit history with regard to that card. He gets all of your payments that's been paid on time. He gets all of the credit utilization rates that you have. He literally gets a profile the minute that you add him as an authorized user to your cards, and then boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. He automatically then gets qualified because he has great credit history, unless your credit is bad. If you add him as an authorized user and you don't even have to give him a card, guess what? He gets a credit history. Life is not that complicated. Shout out to the dude from Fairfax. I'm glad that you're hearing what it is that we talk about. It's not hard. If we do the right thing and then we go about taking care of business, you don't have to start establishing a great credit history. Go and get a Navy Federal credit card. We need to go and get this Delta and all of this. You don't have to do that. Trade lines, maybe I'll do a whole show on trade lines. You don't have to do that. When you add somebody to your credit history or as an authorized user, they get the same stuff that you get all the way back to when you got it. And then there it is. They don't have to go out and buy a car in order to establish good credit. They don't got to go out there and spend a bunch of money, get credit cards in order to get themselves in debt. They don't have to do none of that. It is so easy for you to be out here helping your kids, but because we don't have the information and because we don't really know how to communicate it effectively and we don't know how money and credit works in real life, we then go out here and we use credit for the things that's worse for us, and we can't actually extend our inside information and pass it on because we so busy using this internet wisdom that don't necessarily add any value into your life. All I see is crying and complaining. Next time I see somebody crying and complain, I want them to actually come with a solution. I want them to come with a solution. It's not that deep.
Want to get
and
into
let me
debt.
also say this.
So he doesn't have
You don't have to give it to them before they need it. You're not hearing me. A lot of y'all want to add them on there too early. You don't have to do that. A few months before, they about to do whatever it is that they got to do when they need to qualify for something specifically that's actually best for them, add them on there, and then gets them that credit history, and you'll be fine. Let's continue.
Any credit to show for it. So it's like a lose-lose situation. I don't know how they're living. I don't know if he can move out right now because I personally don't feel comfortable with the places he can afford moving to, and he can't afford the normal standard shit that I would have afforded back when. How are people doing this, and how do we expect our young kids, he's not young, he's 25, but how do we expect our youth to
You're supposed to be poor when you're in your 20s, but let's continue.
get ahead? I mean, really.
One of the things that I'm doing with my daughter, because she's basically going to inherit all of this. She gets all of the benefits. She gets the milk, the cookies, and all of that other type of stuff, right? Her college is already paid for. Her career is basically already set. If she decides that she doesn't want to fall back on the thing that she then gets a degree in and does her internships for, she can always come back to work for daddy. If she decides that she ever wants to get married and move out, that she didn't want to live with us throughout, the beginning of her marriage or whatever, we will gift her a house that is fully paid for. Wealth is not making money. Wealth is how you understand how money works that then is transferred over from person to person, considering that they then get the lessons that come along with understanding how money works. Y'all want to put y'all kids into the same space and the same position as y'all, but y'all are not giving them an opportunity to really grow and be successful. We're supposed to be better than we're supposed to make our kids better than what we are. We're not supposed to continue to saddle them with the same things that we did, thinking that it's going to work for them when it's a completely different time in which we live in. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to move on with the show. Mr. Maximus says, I almost left a massage therapist a bad review but she found a way to make me happy in the end. I gave you a happy ending. Mr. Maximus Love C is in the building, says, Lawndale is where Mary Johnson attends church. Really? I'm going to have to go to a service and see if I can catch the spirit. Latrell M says these people lack critical thinking skills. Agreed. Jeremy H is in the building, says, get in the black dress. Sound like she in a bind, Nate. Qbert Rames says, broke people complaining is one of my favorite segments in the show. I may have to do this more often. Peace and blessings to the greatest show on earth. Hashtag 50Ms. I appreciate that, Qbert. I appreciate you. Mr. Lott is in the building, says, winter is coming and it's snowing too. Shout out to the snow bunnies. Shout out to the snow bunnies. I ain't did an Umar Johnson reaction in a long time. I ain't been interested. John Wick says, Gavin raised the minimum wage to create more tax revenue for the state. He don't give a F about y'all wages, and that's a fact, though. That's a fact, though. And they did not change the tax brackets to be commensurate with what it is that you're going to be making either. P. Rothstein 216 says, so my understanding is everybody's life is on the internet is a lie, and most people are really broke. Anton, you called it. And I'm absolutely right, including Joe Smith, whose wife is back on OF in order to make sure that she shake what she got to get what she won't. David Simpson Jr. in the building says 4 roommates in granny-style suites, bathroom built in with shared quarters elsewhere, kitchen, living room, same sex, all vetted properly. Get to that bag then. Get to that bag then. Mr. Locke came through again. Said, all jokes aside, this is why joining the Patreon is so helpful. There are too many bags out here to be struggling for too long. Shout out to Mr. Lott in the building. Jason Lee is in the building, says, minimum wage should be $100 an hour. We tired, boss. Then your tacos going to be $140. You know what I'm saying? Sadiq says, I got this 10 ball for you, Time Dog. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Marcus Hill is in the building, and he said, complaining doesn't change a thing. The energy spent whining could be spent more constructively. When you ask people like this, what's the solution? They usually don't have an answer, but they always have the most to say. I agree. Shout out to my dog, Marcus Hill. 187 says, you eat what you kill, baby. Shout out to my dog, 187 in the building. Septa Miles Davis says, I'm still renting a room for $550 a month, utilities included, and make $17 an hour and still making it. It's about lifestyle. Hey, people was criticizing me for living for free. I ain't never seen a group of people criticize somebody for living for free. Marcus Hill says, you can't change the world overnight, but you can change your circumstances and mindset and have an impact on the world around you. Hashtag grow. Shout out to my dog, M. Hill in the building. Knobs says, Anton, they complaining that Uncle Sam has free room and board and free training. Yeah, y'all need to go and join the military, or you can go to prison. You know what I'm saying? 091 Mega says, join the military and get high value skills. I just said that, didn't I? Crazy. And Forcer 2K9 is in the building, says, a lot of people count down the days when they can legally get rid of their kids, whether they're ready or not. A lot of kids are unwanted mistakes. I love having my baby in the room with me. That's my girl. Erica says, hi, Anton and fam. Recently joined the Bag Chasers. Need your help, Anton. Sent you some info if you can. If not, I get it. Just glad to learn. Nah, we actually are adding people. Rita sent out another 10 emails yesterday in order to add y'all to my schedule as far as having a conversation on the Patreon. And I see what y'all got going on in the Discord. We're going to talk about it when I get to DC. Shout out to Erica in the building. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Let's continue over. So let's talk about it. We've been talking about food prices, inflation, problems, trouble. And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we really deep dive and we get to the money, right? We do talk about the issues that's happening in society, but we want to be very, very careful about not just harping on what's wrong, but also having a conversation about what the real circumstances and what real situations are as far as what's causing these problems. And then B, how do we solution for them? Walmart, for example, makes a lot of money. And they have a very strategic, and when I say strategic, I'm talking about they are methodical. They are similar to Amazon, similar to Apple, but in a different way, even though Amazon is trying to be all things to all people. Walmart is very, very, very calculated in how it is that they execute from a price perspective as far as the type of products that they put inside of their stores. And a lot of y'all don't even remember, Walmart initially wasn't even a grocery chain. Walmart was not a grocery chain. Walmart was a goods store. They added groceries. Well, why did they add groceries? We're going to get to that part. I'm going to give you my insight understanding as far as UXing within the retail space. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all.
Sky-high grocery bills are inflicting pain at the supermarket checkout counter. Food at home prices in 2022 jumped 11.4% and are expected to increase 5% in 2023. By comparison, prices rose just 0.7% in 2019. In an effort to stretch their grocery dollars further, a growing number of Americans are turning to Walmart. The Arkansas-based retailer is America's largest grocer, more than twice the size of its next biggest competitor.
One of the biggest drivers for Walmart's grocery business today is ironically inflation. As prices have gone up for a lot of items, not just food, but housing, more customers across incomes are turning to its stores.
Known for its low prices and massive footprint, Walmart takes in more than 1 in 4 grocery dollars in the U.S.
One out of every 4 people, 25% of every single person. Let me say that again. 25% of every single grocery dollar that is spent in the United States is spent at Walmart. I cannot emphasize this enough. I want y'all to understand the magnitude of this. The data does not lie, and it's a reason why we need to have these conversations. 25% of every dollar that is spent on groceries in the United States of America is spent at Walmart. Now, what Walmart has been able to do is leverage the infrastructure that they've been able to build. Maybe I should save this part. Leverage the infrastructure that they've been able to build, including not just the stores, but also the distribution centers, in order to expand their footprint more quickly than just grocery stores alone. So when you see Kroger's and Publix and Aldi's and all of that, they are still leveraging the idea that they're getting lower margins because grocery stores have lower margins, profitability that comes along with what the cost is to truly sell that product, which cannot compete with a larger chain that has the infrastructure similar to like an Amazon. But then in addition to that, they make the majority of their money not necessarily off of groceries. That may be where they gross a lot of their revenue, but that's not where all of their profitability comes from. Walmart has a multi-level approach. The first thing that they did was they marketed themselves as a low-cost retailer. The reason that is that is still ingrained in your mindset today. So when you start to experience some level of pain at grocery stores or with inflation or with your budget, the first thing that you think of, even without necessarily comparison shopping, is that Walmart is the cheapest option. So we need to go to Walmart in order to go and make sure that we take care of business. Crazy how that worked, right? Walmart spent decades programming you to automatically assume, and in some cases it's true, that they have the lowest prices when it comes to groceries, and a large way in which they're able to do that is economies of scale. The second thing that they were able to do was when Walmart were in their growth phase, they spent more money on continuing to build out the infrastructure and take over specific places, which allowed for them to then drive out of business the other places that was their competition in the same area, because people automatically assumed that a Walmart was an end-all be-all. And so it drove out the mom and pop stores. It drove out a lot of the local grocery stores. They competed with a lot of these places and they beat them, which also made them one of the only options for a lot of you guys in wherever it is that you live at. That also allowed for them to continue to put pressure on whomever it was that were selling products and wanted shelf space in their stores, because they were largely one of the only games in town, which then forced you to conform over to whatever it is that they wanted you to do. We're going to get there. Let's continue. This is a whole lesson for y'all. But then I also want you to take into consideration What is the probability that you need to invest in Walmart, and what is the long-term prospects of it? Let's continue.
1.5% increase from 2021. Walmart's low prices are also resonating with high-income consumers, who made up about half of the company's market share gains in food in the fiscal quarter that ended January 2023.
That is correct, Yakar.
Inflation is having an impact, particularly for those that don't have as much money. So we see them behaving in different ways, but we're also attracting a lot of new customers to come.
Shout out to the Waltons, one of the top billionaires in the
higher income families are shopping at Walmart because they're so price sensitive right now.
When we think about the grocery landscape over the next 5 and 10 years, we see increasingly middle America and affluent America shifting some of their shopping basket over to Walmart.
To boost its customer base, Walmart has enhanced its online shopping experience, added robots to its warehouses, and ramped up programs like drone and direct-to-fridge delivery. It's also
So Walmart is doing a very similar thing to what Amazon is doing, except for they have a completely different target and demographic that they're marketing to in a completely different way, which makes you seem or make you think that you're getting the best deal in comparison to other grocery store chains.
Expanded its late-night delivery offerings. As it has gained market share, its stock price has continued to climb. But Walmart, along with its rivals, has also faced criticism that it doesn't compete fairly with small independent grocers.
What is a fair competition? The goal is to drive you out of business so that we can make more money. What do you mean we don't compete fairly? So we supposed to give you an opportunity in order to come and grow and take market share from us in this particular area of the country? Nope. They're true capitalists, and they work for whoever their shareholders are. I don't have any interest, or I don't have any vested interest in Walmart because I don't have any kind of shares of Walmart within the stock marketplace. But why would they then give the competition a leg up to be able to compete with them? It sounds crazy.
You will see milk being sold in place $1 a gallon less than what I can even buy it for. Eggs.
And that is, hold on, let me rewind this guy. I want y'all to hear what he's saying.
We're not on a level playing field, the more we will see groceries from. As long as we're
from 12 in place $1 a gallon less than what I can even buy it for.
So he's the owner of another market, right? And he's saying that Walmart is willing to sell milk for $1 less than what he's even able to buy it for. You know what they call that? Loss leaders. That is the thing that allows for you to get. Walmart is willing to lose money on a product in order to be able to get you in the door. It says save it for the Patreon. All right.
Eggs, anywhere from 25 to 50 cents or more less than what I can purchase this from.
As long as we are not on a level playing field, the more we will see grocery store closures across the country, the less opportunity there will be for these consumers.
And with inflation cooling and prices leveling off, will Walmart be able to hang on to its newly acquired shoppers?
One of its big threats is actually regional grocers, like HEB or Publix or Wegmans have really strong fan followings.
CNBC.
And they eventually will fall off too. Let's move over to how Walmart makes money. I want to break that part down and then we're going to move on.
Together with Sam's Club, grocery sales were more than $300 billion at Walmart in 2022, compared with Kroger, the nation's second leading grocer, that had sales of $109 billion that year. But how did Walmart's grocery...
Now remember, this is not store sales. This is just grocery sales, all right?
...segment get so big, so fast? For starters, Walmart uses its deep pockets and grocery muscles to negotiate favorable prices with suppliers.
Because when you buy more, you have more leverage and people want to continue to do business with you. When you buy more, you have more leverage and people want to continue to do business with you.
Walmart's scale has always been a huge advantage in terms of its ability to negotiate with suppliers and get really the best terms of any retailer in the industry.
Based on a basket of 45 identical goods that includes milk, a dozen eggs, and a frozen pizza, Amazon Fresh prices were about 28% higher than Walmart's. Target's prices were about 9% higher than Walmart's. Its massive footprint is another part of its success. Walmart has more than 4,600 locations in the U.S. alone, enabling shoppers to purchase goods in-store or pick up curbside. About 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart store. They also act like mini warehouses.
More recently, Walmart has been testing a way to automatically fulfill grocery orders. So it's
automation, artificial intelligence, getting people up out of there that don't necessarily add value into them, but they have to pay them a certain amount of money, and they're going to continue to innovate. They're testing, continuously putting money into research and development in order to automate the process to be able to get you your products without having to worry about a person in between you. They cutting out the middleman. The workers are the middleman, and they continuing to drive down costs, which allows for them to be able to sell it cheaper, and then their sheer scale and their buying power also allows for them to be able to negotiate the best prices than you can even get it for. So if you trying to go in and compete against Walmart, how you going to do so if the consumer is price conscious? How can you compete against somebody if the consumer is price conscious?
adding automation in the back of stores. It actually made an acquisition of Alert Innovation, which is a company that essentially has a bunch of robots that act almost like a larger version of a vending machine that help pick different groceries and make it speedier and cheaper to fulfill online grocery orders.
Even this year, they've talked about investing, I think, close to $18 billion or $17 or $18 billion in capital expenditures, a lot of which is going to go toward automation, which should help to drive, over time, better profitability.
Walmart said it expects 65% of its stores to be serviced by automation by the end of fiscal year 2026.
65% of their stores by 2026 is going to be serviced by automation. Let me say that again. 65% by 2020. That's not that far away. It's less than 2.5 years away. We about to be in 2024 in a couple months. They're automating the process, and over 65% of its stores are going to be automated by 20. So now you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about making $25, $26 an hour. You're going to have to be competing for that bumblebee suit that somebody is spinning, or that tax sign that you spinning and got on there with the Statue of Liberty suit on, trying to get people to do their taxes over there when they can do it online for free. You going to be fighting for man, let me tell you, bro. During the recession in 2008, that bumblebee suit was a heavy commodity. If you can get a job as the bumblebee suit man and put that sign on your head and you be on the side of the road water waving and having your sign and spinning it around in order for people to try to go and get accounting services and taxes, get their taxes done, you was better than the majority of the people that was laid off out here in these streets. That bumblebee suit was real in the field, fam.
Automation could make some jobs obsolete. Walmart, the country's largest private employer, has 1.6 million workers on staff in the U.S. It has also upped its e-commerce game and added convenient shopping options to entice high-income consumers. It added same-day grocery delivery for Walmart Plus subscribers, advertising that delivery could come in as little as 30 minutes. Walmart has also rolled out multiple delivery options. Drone delivery, which began in 2021 and is available in a handful of markets, including Texas and Florida, has made more than 10,000 deliveries as of September 2023. An additional delivery option for Plus members is Walmart In-Home, available in 46 markets, including Miami and Dallas.
Rita don't even go to the grocery store a lot of times no more. I call her, she be like, "Oh, I didn't sleep that good last night." I be like, "Oh yeah? What you about to do? Grocery shop?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's dope." She called me back, 10 minutes. "Yeah, okay, so I'm done." "So you left the house and went grocery shopping that fast? I thought you said that you was about to go grocery shopping." "Oh, don't worry about it. I ordered it online. It'll be here in a minute." At first, she was acting extra saucy. She was feeling some type of way. She was acting like the world was, you know what? I like to go to the grocery store and pick my stuff. I was like, okay, go ahead and pick your stuff. I picked up the application. I said, "Leslie, what you want?" We ordered our stuff, had Instacart delivered that junk. That junk was slapping. She was looking like, and at first she tried to resist. That's a fact though. At first she tried to resist. First she was like, "No, because you know what? I got to go in and I need to go in and feel the boxes of macaroni noodles." It's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. You keep on doing it." Now, yeah, I just got done ordering groceries and then the cleaners came and they go ahead and cleaned up everything and all of this other type of stuff. I said, I needed to make sure that I had more time in my schedule to take care of the things that we need to be focusing on. No, don't be in the chat now. Don't be in the chat with the eyeballs. I see you. Don't be in the chat now. Chick got all the apps on her phone. Grocery ordering app, coffee ordering app, cleaner ordering app. All of the apps. Just apping it up.
The service features a store associate who can deliver.
Everybody in the house got a laptop, 2 phones, and a tablet. Everybody got an Apple. Everybody got an iPad, the latest iPads, 2 phones. Anton, I need another money phone. What you mean you need another money phone? Dog, I got about 27 lines on my AT&T. Apple Watches, people getting their steps in. I said, Leslie, what you need a iPad and a MacBook for? You know, Dad, sometimes I look in there, she go in there, she got monitors everywhere. I said, what the heck is going on over here? Oh, I got ChatGPT on this one, Dad, in order to make sure that we got our homework together correctly. I got we're typing it up on this one, but you know what? I don't even think that we're gonna type anymore because we're using voice to text now. And all this. I said, I just went ahead, I just shut the door and walked on out. Shut the door and walked on out.
Groceries to your door, your garage, or even inside your kitchen while you're away from home. Private label brands have boosted grocery sales as well. Walmart has 4 of the 5 most popular private label brands, including Great Value, which was purchased by 72% of U.S. consumers, according to a 2022 report.
You don't want to be in the path of Walmart. You don't want to be in the path of Amazon. 10 years ago, there might have been this idea that, the super centers are all rolled out. There's no more growth ahead for Walmart. But e-commerce is really this next leg of growth. And if you can weave in the automation behind it and keep adding to a simpler and cleaner shopping experience, I don't see why we don't get another leg of growth here ahead for Walmart.
So when you decide that you want to go and start your own business for the community, and you want to go and get into this game, understand who it is that you're competing against, the innovation, the competition. And if you can leverage it to fill a void, then you might be getting rich. But if you think that you're going to be competing against somebody like a Walmart, let me tell you something. Walmart wants you to come into the store to buy groceries, not necessarily to make money, but also because they use it as a loss leader to get you to browse the store and buy things that you otherwise wouldn't have when they can mark it up at a lot higher value. It's a fact, though. There's so many ways and so many tricks of the trade when it comes to this retail game. If y'all are a retailer and y'all have not tapped into the Patreon and y'all have not booked a coaching call, shame on you. Shame on you as a retailer that has not booked the coaching call and got into it, all right? I want to share with you guys one more thing before we get out of here. And it's one thing that's near and dear to my heart. Near and dear to my heart is HOA fees. HOA fees, listen, I'm a kid that was born in the 80s, played ball outside and was having fun as a kid in the 90s, made my chops in the 2000s, and I've been able to see and experience some things and observe some things throughout my travels throughout the United States of America and throughout my purchases of different properties and seeing what's going on. And one thing that I see happening is HOA fees seem to be getting out of control. HOA fees are getting out of control. I looked at a property 2 days ago, and I was trying to understand, why did it sell for that price, right? Because, I'm paying attention to the real estate market and the rental market and the purchasing and the inflation and the prices, interest rates, what areas is going for whatever, and so on and so forth. So I keep an eye on different things that I see. And one of the things that I use my iPad for is I'm paying attention to what's going on in the marketplace, right? And so I'm looking and I'm observing and I'm trying to understand what the heck is going on. And so it's sold for a price and it's really, really good area or whatever. I'm like, they must have got a really good deal. And I looked over there and I seen that HOA fee. And that HOA fee was like $500 a month. Wow. It's people in Miami that's paying crazy HOA fees. One thing that I do is I buy land in spaces, or I build in spaces, or I continue to invest in places. One of the things that's a red flag for me as an investor is when I see crazy HOA fees, or if I see a neighborhood with HOA in the first place. Some of y'all got HOA fees that's insane. I've seen people paying $475, $500 a month in HOA fees. Yes. As a matter of fact, I might even pull up some of these properties that I see over here in Metro Detroit alone. Around Detroit, they paying $475, $500 a month in HOA fees. And HOA fees have gotten out of control, personally, in my opinion. But let me share this with you guys. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Tap into the Patreon tomorrow. Make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift.
84% of newly built single-family homes sold in 2022 belong to what's called a homeowners association, which are organizations that oversee properties in a community.
Certain local governments require almost all new construction to have an HOA.
They're rooted in the desire for municipalities to offload their responsibilities for taking care of things that you would normally associate with paying your taxes.
Homeowners associations provide value to owners.
But there's been a backlash to HOAs because of some homeowners' negative experiences.
When I first bought this house, I was very excited. Seemed like it was a very nice, cozy, close-knit community. Then it started turning into a horror story.
I'm a huge believer that, you do sign away your civil rights when you're signing into an HOA or a condo association.
It's a matter of personal preference. Some people like anchovies on their pizza and some don't. Some people really like living in homeowners associations. Others don't like it.
So why are HOAs so powerful? And do they make homes more valuable?
I think that HOAs actually are starting to make homes less valuable. There was a time where HOAs were necessary. So, for example, HOAs enforce rules that prevent people from doing some crazy stuff that then drives down the price of the properties that's in your community. It also offloads a lot of the responsibility and the infrastructure updates and the changes and things like that that's supposed to come along with you paying your property taxes in a particular city, right? So, for example, trash pickup. That may be a part of something that's structured within the HOA. You pulling permits and getting authority to be able to do certain things to your house that would then devalue or lower what it is, the quality of life for the rest of the community over there. And so they then basically have their own mini government on top of the local government that you then have to mine and navigate through, which is a bunch of politics. God, that junk is aggravating. Trust me, I know it is one of the most headache things that I've ever experienced in my entire life, even to the point to where if you don't pay your homeowners association fees, they could put a lien on your house. They could put a lien on your house. If you don't pay your homeowners association fees, they can put a lien on your house. The little spray to make sure that the mosquitoes don't get all out of control because you live in a certain area, that's an HOA fee. The thing where they make sure that they fill in the cracks in your particular neighborhood and all, HOA fees. Absolutely.
Homeowners associations are run by a board of directors that's made up of volunteers who own property in the community. The HOA typically handles communal responsibilities, which can vary from managing amenities such as swimming pools to making sure property owners follow home maintenance rules. The board may hire a management company, which tend to be for-profit, to help run the day-to-day operations. Homeowners in the community pay into a fund for the HOA to have an operating budget. In the U.S., the typical home in an HOA pays between $200 and $300 per month in fees.
Can you imagine that? So you buy your house, right? You pay your mortgage with this crazy 8% interest rate based off of what the interest rates are today. You're paying your property taxes. You probably put 3.5% down, so you're paying private mortgage insurance. You got to pay your regular insurance. You got maintenance. You got everything that's going on with the house and the property. Property taxes is crazy because you overpaid for it. And then you got HOA fees. That's $300, $400, $500 a month. And it's going to a company, and it's all managed by a group of volunteers that then require more of your time than you already have because you're working 60 hours a week just to make sure that you're paying for your mortgage in general. And this is going over to a HOA, and you don't even know what your money is going into.
HOAs have the authority to hand out fines to residents in the community that the association feels is not following the rules. Those fines may also accrue interest in some cases. The Inostroza's annual dues for their HOA in Noonan, Georgia is $200 per year, which is lower than the national average. So on paper, their HOA membership doesn't seem like that much of a financial burden, but that's not been their reality.
When we moved in 2008, we found out that there was a balance that was attached to the home because it had been sitting in the community, and they were fining us for that balance and late fees and any other type of fines that they would put onto the home for.
I've had them harass my tenants like, hey, we want him to do this or we want him to do that. Y'all need to get in contact with him. That junk is a headache, man.
Lawn care or anything. All of that was attached to this home when we moved in.
From 2008, 2014, we tried to get in contact with the HOA and we never had a reply from them. And we just kept trying and no answer.
By August 2015, the HOA put a lien on the Inostroza's home. In the court documents, the HOA said the Inostrozas owed more than $1,600. A lien is when a party has a legal claim to an asset, such as a home, which can serve as collateral to satisfy unpaid debt. This can open the door to the HOA escalating to the next level of debt collection, such as foreclosing on the home or, in the Inostroza's case, garnishing wages.
It's like having a neighborhood watch group, but on steroids.
In mid-2015, they started garnishing my wages. The first time I learned of that was when I got my first paycheck that they garnished.
I didn't know that they can garnish your wages. Wow. That's crazy. Listen. Of all of the things that I've ever seen happening within the business community, the real estate community, and I understand there's some things that I just haven't seen yet, but I must see them eventually. Of all of the things that I've ever seen in my entire life, I have never in my life ever heard of a HOA, a homeowners association, garnishing your wages. What? Garnishing your wages? And these little, I was about to say something, and these little hussies, they be gossiping. Yes, they do be gossiping. They be telling the business about who coming to your home and all of this other stuff. I have never heard of that in my entire life. I heard of liens being put on homes and stuff like that. I have never heard of wages being garnished as a HOA. What the heck is going on, bro?
I didn't get any prior notice. I got a notice 2 weeks after.
Even though the HOA was collecting from Jules' paycheck, invoices filed with the court showed they were adding fines rather than deducting from the overall balance. By December 2016, the HOA said the Inostrozas owed more than $4,300.
In 2016, I decided to go into debtor's court. My attorney and the HOA's attorney came to an agreement that I would pay $3,200. We paid in installments, and we finally paid that off in January of this year.
It went from a $1,600, yo, this is a racket. I'm about to buy a whole new neighborhood. Listen, that might be the new finesse. That might be the new finesse. Buy the block back and then start tagging HOA fees on everybody and then throw extra fees if they 1 day late, throw a $50 late fee on that joint. That might be the new racket. And you ain't even got to own nothing. You just got to require them to sign into a HOA when you purchase the house. I've even heard of, honestly, I ain't never heard of no junk like that. You went from $1,600 to $4,300 after fees because of an HOA? God, so you got to pay them to sue you. That's crazy. That is worse than a payday loan. And they can garnish your wages?
But it seemed like never got to the management or the homeowner situation. Just adding fines and adding interest. That's all they was doing.
So they were still saying that I owed almost $8,000, while my attorney and their attorney agreed on $3,000 something.
The Inostrozas estimate that they've paid about $12,000 in fines and garnished wages to the HOA, along with thousands of dollars in legal fees to their own attorneys.
They got a $200, $300 a year HOA fee, and that then resulted over the $8,000 in fine and fees, plus they own legal fees over into their own attorney. Dog, I would be livid. I've even heard of people selling their home because of the homeowners association that they got to pay because of the HOA fee. Because they can pay the mortgage, they can pay the property taxes, but they can't afford the HOA fees anymore. God, I ain't never heard of this finesse. This is crazy.
The latest invoice they received on August 18th, 2023 says they still hold a balance.
Even after paying $12,000, they're still saying that we owe them $8,000.
After the past, 23? After the past 10 years. About 10 years, yeah.
CNBC reached out to Homeowners Management LLC for comment and received automated responses directing us to contact the current management company as of August 2023. A representative from the current management company, Century Management, told CNBC, because it just became the management company for this community in the last couple of months, Century has little ability to comment on historical facts regarding the Inestrosas case. The former director of the HOA board, who oversaw the association from 2020 until her resignation in October 2023, declined CNBC's request for comment.
Yo, they need to check that chick's bank account and see where all of this money is going. She sound like she finessed. I don't know what. I ain't never heard of no junk like that before.
Attorneys representing the HOA board did not respond to CNBC's repeated requests for comment. Jessica Navas and Matt Bazzone, who are also homeowners in the subdivision, began investigating their HOA.
I started to have this feeling that there was something odd about the HOA.
I was about to end the live stream, but I'm emotionally invested in what's going on right here. Let me see what else is going on right now.
Pandemic.
They discovered a history of at least 25 foreclosures in the community over the past 15 years.
Just one house can have a record between 2 to 3 foreclosures within that time frame.
If Jessica hadn't just took the initiative to go to everyone in the community that she knew were homeowners, we never would have known any of this, because all we did was basically go to work, come home, raise our children, that's it. And we never knew that anybody else was going through this, because for the longest I felt like, is it just me?
I feel like HOA could be a positive thing when the community work together, keeping our houses looking good, and built for property value.
A big part of an HOA sales pitch is that the presence of the organization can help increase property values.
The board is responsible for protecting property values. For most people in the United States, the single biggest investment they're ever going to make.
There's mixed evidence about whether this is true. A 2019 study found that on average, HOA homes cost at least 4% more than non-HOA homes. That comes out to an extra $13,500. But those property values can vary significantly by location. A different 2019 analysis of 3 U.S. cities found that the home values in HOA areas were less than those in neighborhoods without them. The Inestrosas property value has increased between the time they bought it in 2008 following the housing crash to 2020.
They need to go on a diet together. He got that trucker. Got that basketball under his shirt. She got that a 7 months pregnant look. They eating good, that's for sure.
I don't think that HOA has anything to do with our property value going up.
I feel with the HOA, the management company don't increase the property value. They're just there as employees, the community that increase the value of the property.
HOAs can also be necessary in order to manage shared amenities or land, which can be a value add for homeowners.
There are associations out there that handle all the landscaping. Even though you may own your lot, the association cuts the grass and they do all the landscaping. So is that a cost savings? Sure.
Management companies can help a community function smoothly, especially when a board of volunteers needs assistance.
G-Man said that's stress. Yeah, I get you. I mean, it might be stress. Honestly, it might be stress. Stress eating. A lot of people turn to different vices depending on what it is that they're going through. And so it could be stress. You're right. You might be right.
A large company will manage 20 or 30 or 40 HOAs in a region. And they tend to have it down to a science. They know how to deal with trash pickup. They know how to deal with yard maintenance. They know how to deal with complaints. They have their fines and their enforcement down to a science.
Relying too much on a property management company is going to cause problems, and relying too much on the homeowners to run their own association is also going to cause problems.
The management company and the manager are simply a contractor to carry out the board's direction.
Let me tell you something, bro. These HOA fees that were just like everything else in the world, they become a finesse. These HOA fees, just like everything else in the world, it becomes a finesse. That's just real. When people get a hold of it and they figure out how to finesse it, when it was supposed to be meant for something good, when the money start getting involved, it always goes bad. That's just flat out. That's my opinion of it. I'm sticking to it. We got a schedule to keep. I got to make sure that I add value into y'all life. Let me read a few more super chats and then we're going to move over with the show. J-Rock says, finishing move, AD, get the table. Shout out to my dog, J-Rock, for the 5-ball. I appreciate you. Ken J in the building says, what kind of ungodly power have they given these HOA? Man, I don't know, bro. I've experienced something. I ain't experienced what they had went through, but this junk is wild. Who are these people? The home lender themselves don't have that kind of power. Facts. You can get a squatter in your house and they got more power than that. Performance Chip in the building says HOA Mafia. HOA Mafia. Well, we need to get a drop for that. I think that the next move need to get establishing HOAs and finessing these people out of their homes. You know what I'm saying? Throwing a lien on their homes if they don't pay it. Throwing way more fees in it. Put it in really small fine print. And get that bag. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Performance Chip. Shout out to everybody that's holding me down. Listen, y'all. Whenever you go and looking for a property, one of the things you don't want to do, or that you want to be very, very careful of, is if these properties are in locations where they have HOA fees. I do not do it. It's one of my biggest red flags. It's one of the things that I look for. And when I see it, even if the HOA fees are low, I prefer to buy land and property in spaces where I do not have HOA fees. I have one property that has HOA fees, and they're not that high, but it's absolutely one of the biggest headaches that I've ever had with that property. It's the only headache that I've ever had with that property. So listen, hopefully you guys continue to get value. Make sure you shout out Teach Henley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Join the Patreon tomorrow. I will be reminding you guys tomorrow. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm meeting up with y'all bag chasers in D.C. on Saturday. That's going to be lit. I'm going to be there. Q is going to be there. Rita's going to be there. All of my friends and family is going to be there. It's like a family affair, man. And then I'm also dropping information and updates on the Build Your Business tomorrow morning for when you guys can come up and pitch me a business inside of the Patreon live stream so I can give you what it is that you need in order to fund your business. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Next Level. MF says, basketball under the shirt trucker. Y'all are wild. Listen, thank you guys for continuing to allow for me to entertain you guys for a small portion of your morning and afternoon. I love you. I appreciate you. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me every single morning on the Millionaire Morning Show. Jeremy H came through and he says, hold on, let me read this. Jeremy H says, HOA has actually stopped me from investing in real estate because they said I was buying too many. I don't know how they could stop you. That don't make sense. Next Level says, BCU, Bag Chasers University, is in the building. Shout out to my people. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.